Welcome everybody back for the KH2 Randomizer League.
Welcome.
We got bracket play going on here. I'm J Hubs and I am joined by Sonic Shadow Silver 2. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm super excited for this race.
Yes, this is gonna be a fun one. So fun fact, we were chatting a little bit before the broadcast started here, and we had a little bit of a survey go out to all the bracket players, and funnily enough, my two people that surprised me most in this tournament were our two competitors today, DoubleADewi and @0. So I am really looking forward to this one because I think they both played extremely well throughout this this league so far. Now, that is our match, as you can see there in location G on the bracket that you're seeing at the moment. We are going to have Adam, or @0, versus DoubleADewi starting very shortly. You can see both players getting ready to go. We will be showing you all our, how we reason about the logic as the players are as we continue to go through. Small things to note, they are both using the same tracker layout, which is not great for me because I use the other one, but great for you all because they are nice and aligned, thankfully. Yeah, we are starting with Chicken Little, so that is convenient. I don't know why Adam's GOA is showing as with 2. It has the number 2 there as if he's already got 2 hints. That's a little weird, but
It's because of the amount of sets that they got started with it, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that will correct itself once they get their first hit.
Okay. But yeah, both players opening with a menu here to grab some items from their party members and also check some of the individual things. Small thing to note, Double actually going for opening some of the filler chests in the GOA there, whereas Adam completely skips over all of them. It looks like Double is going to carry that strategy going into Pride Lands. Adam being a little bit slower in the menuing does get to catch up as a result, and the two get synced up going straight in to the fight here. We get our nice expected start here. For any newer viewers of the Rando who maybe don't know, this is an RNG manipulated strategy. We would do Pride Lands first anyways, and we do have backups, yeah. But it does make things quite nice to know that we will get that reaction command to start. Both players remembering that they got a magnet there in the previous room, and so they are able to use that in the fight to save some time. And it looks like, once again, the main difference here is Adam is going to be avoiding every chest and gonna save quite a bit of time because literally all of them are filler chests here. Not every day you see that one where the room has just all filler chests.
Although opening the chest can pay out for Double to make them have armor and accessory.
Yeah,
so
that is
very true. For example.
Very true. I suspect we will see Double start skipping some chests once they feel comfortable with some of the accessories they've gotten, or maybe some of the power-ups or magic ups. Yep. Or magic boosts, that is. But for now, Adam gets to take a little bit of an early lead from that. Also had a slightly faster fight. Nothing major. We're very much at the beginning of the game here, so can't rely on any leads at this moment or anything. Talk a little bit about the players going into this match. Dewey was able to secure a bracket spot with, I believe, a 4-1 record, if I'm not mistaken, coming out of the Swiss rounds, whereas Adam did have to fight his way through the tiebreaker after going 3-2 in Swiss, and had to fight through the tiebreaker race and resulted in, I believe, a 4th or 5th place in that tiebreaker race, meaning he was able to obviously make it here into the bracket play, which is why we're seeing this today.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, now the nice thing about this is we get to see a true, once both players leave the world here, we get to actually see just how much time you lose from grabbing those chests. Obviously, the menu is going to play somewhat of a factor as well. But Adam leaving there at 3:24 on his real-time timer, and Dewey will be leaving a little bit later. A couple more chests to grab. 3:36. So Adam saving about 12 seconds there.
Yep. Double doing the shotgun I usually do all the time.
Really? Okay, so is there a reason you go to LOD next? Is it just to get more menuing out of the way, or is it to just kind of get done with it because it's a faster world, or why do you avoid Agrabah next?
Mainly because, like, I would hope to have, like, better movement for the first room of Agrabah.
Yeah, I know that personally for me can bring Disney Castle a little bit earlier if I don't feel confident in my movement going through Agrabah. But our player's looking pretty good right now on the movement front. One of every skill except 3 aerial dodges. So a level 1 glide, level 1 quick run, you want to get a little bit higher versions of those as quickly as possible, but still not too bad. And we do see a genie in the shotgun of The World That Never Was.
Yep, like personally what I like to do sometimes if my movement's not really that good for the World That Never Was shotgun is that if nothing in that first room is good, then just die really quick, back to the beginning of the room faster.
Yeah, I agree. It can. There's almost a little bit of pride that can come into play where you want to see if you can get through the whole seed death list, so maybe don't. But especially if you've already had, an early death to the to Pride Lands or something like that, then yeah, that absolutely a great option there. Now we're seeing a fire in the Halloween town square there. And a Bone Fist in Agrabah for Adam.
Well, Adam did find another fly in Agrabah just now.
Oh, okay.
So slightly better movement than double right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's second. And the upgrade from 0 glides to 1 is obviously the most important, but the upgrade from 1 to 2 is quite strong as well because it does let you hover over the ground as long as it is flat ground. Or a decline, you can hover for indefinitely, whereas with a level 1 glide, you will get stopped. Now, obviously, both players doing things in a slightly different order, but not too surprised here that they are both following this same shotgun formula, shotgun pattern that a lot of players follow, myself included. The idea here, just trying to avoid fighting early on, unless the fight has a very useful method for taking it out, like we see with Double using the double dance call here in Christmas Town. And you just kind of avoid some fights, take some shallow visits into a wide spread of worlds, and try to get as many tools, more or less for free, as you can, so that way when you do have to go into those fights, you have a little bit more at your disposal.
Also, I didn't realize there was an accessory slot in the World That Never Was.
Oh, yes, very nice. Finishing leap and guard break. Oh, a master form, yeah.
And how is done?
All right, so Halloween Town, our first world to guarantee no proofs to come from it. And that is our first drive form as well. So if a Light and Darkness shows up, then the players will very likely force final, but they might have to anyways. Or, we'll have to see how that decision matrix plays out for our racers here. If one of them decides to force final and the other doesn't, or if one of them, stumbles across it sooner or something like that. Let's see. Nice Berserk charge showing up there in Olympus Coliseum and Magic in this chest here. Blizzard, excellent. It does look like Dewey has started to skip some of the chests here. Did come into this world opening some of the filler chests still, but then is being a bit more picky and choosy now.
Yeah, he probably feels comfortable and skipping them at this point.
Going into Master Form already, yep. I think what we can kind of read from that is that Dewey is trying to build up those anti-points in case he does have to force final, and is able to get an EXP boost there in Port Royal, as well as Flash Step, and it draws nothing to sneeze at either. So very nice Port Royal shotgun there, but we know Adam will be following that soon. But I do like the strategy of wasting just maybe a second to pop into Master Form in between each of these visits, because you will get all your drive back anyways, and you can start building those anti-points you know, it could bite you if you wanted to use some forms later, but it is a good strategy to make sure that you're kind of hedging your bets. You know, you're expecting to have to force final.
Yep. I usually love to force final form, especially for when you have 2 fry forms already.
Yeah.
When you get 3 fry forms, you start getting progressive points from them.
Yeah, it takes leveling forms up to level 5 and higher to get progression points from them. So, yeah, you will need 3 forms total for that. Adam finding his master form. And we did see Dewey grab a... we saw a drive gauge increase from Dewey there in Space Paranoid, so that's nice. Now, these two players are going to even out a bit after, like, Agrabah and whatnot. Oh, actually, Dewey, unfortunately...
Oh.
Unfortunately, not being close enough to the correct cube there when popping into Master Form. Surprised at the revert. I guess they were just nervous about getting to the box quickly enough.
Yeah, that plus Master Form has an air couple plus by default.
Yeah, true. But yeah, now so they already went ahead and used a drive recovery. That is one of the other advantages of picking up those chests along the way, those filler chests, is you are going to end up with more drive recoveries. On these settings, I think that it's quite likely that by the end you will get something regardless, but early on, you have to be a bit more conservative with those if you want to hold them in case of an emergency.
Yep.
We did see Dewey putting on a Keyblade that has Finishing Plus. It's pretty much going to be everybody's go-to if you don't have one at the time, even if your stats are diminished a little bit from it. Finishing Plus is just one of the most helpful abilities you can get on those Keyblades. And we actually did not see Twilight Town from Dewey, so this is something we're seeing from Adam here for the first time. Slide Dash, so already has both gap closers on the ground.
Oh, interesting, Double.
Yeah, Double not pushing further in Disney Castle. A little surprising there.
Yep, considering maybe X4 and Tacky both get a progression point each.
Yeah. Now Adam has found a Reflect in Twilight Town. It's very excellent. And Magnet Burst. Strong aerial finisher.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I remember that stats not letting that bad either.
Yeah, it's true. Looking at 12, 16.
Oh,
and Trinity Limit. Wow, so this Twilight Town's pretty high value. Adam could make the play to just go through Station with Trinity Limit, but knowing Adam's play style here, I believe he's going to leave. Yeah, there we go. And save the Station fight for a potential Final Form grind later on. Seeing some customized menuing from Dewey here as he grabs some items off of Aladdin there. Checking some of those Keyblades that we saw from Adam before. Nothing too, astounding. Does get to put on that EXP boost, though. And of course, Dewey's still rocking that level 1 glide. Hasn't gotten that second one yet.
Nope.
But will
He's
be
about to now.
Yeah. So that is kind of the gamble, if you're trying to wait on better movement going into Agrabah, and then it turns out the better movement's in there all along. But not much you can do about that. Can't predict for that. That's just the randomizer for you.
Yep.
Adam doing a menu of his own. Adam opting to kind of throw on a bit more of those extra abilities.
Nice, interesting, Double.
Yeah, Dewey heading into Beast Castle here, leaving Agrabah a little early.
Yeah.
That is another spot where Adam will probably be able to save. Well, I don't even know if a Trinity Limit would really save time over the damage abuse that Dewey did there. That one was quite fast, so.
Yeah, I feel like it's roughly around the same speed.
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense, Coleman. So yeah, that's probably why Double left early.
Oh, apparently, yeah. Dewey might be thinking about forcing final in those outer walls, as opposed to
Lemon
what
forest,
is
okay.
kind of one of the more common favorite spots of Halloween Town. Now, yeah, that limit form is nice to see.
Yep.
That's something that I'm sure we'll see Adam dipping into this world as well, but we'll probably do so after going quite a bit further in Disney Castle. We do see our first Thunder as well.
Yep.
Here in Beast Castle for Dewey.
My damage boost fair for the shadow.
Adam was checking his Keyblades to switch over to an auto limit Keyblade, so we're probably going to see just some minor auto limit grinding here. This is another good spot to just get damage boosted reliably into critical health in the early game, so not a bad call here. Is he going to go for anything more than one level? No, just going to move on.
All right.
And we're seeing Dewey go through the Thresholder fight, getting beat up a little bit by these enemies here, deciding to go into Master Form instead of Limit Form here. Of course, you do get some Drive Orbs from beating the soul that comes out of the wall, like in between the two phases. Yeah, Possessor, that's the name of it. Gets that to level 2, nothing to write home about. It's a maximum MP increase. Unfortunately, going to lose this drive, but maybe has some more drive recoveries as a result of those filler chests from earlier. Now that strength looking pretty low with that finishing plus Keyblade here.
I mean, it's helping with refilling his drive.
That's true. That's true. Can pop that Chicken Little out now and get that drive back. So maybe that was intentional. I mean, it also just had no MP, and at this point in the early game, before you found a money pouch, you're generally going to be pretty conservative on those ethers. But yeah, is thinking about that drive the whole time. And there's a drive recovery anyways, which is very funny. But always useful to have. Adam going through escorts. They're kind of both going through mini games right now, which is funny. Yeah. Adam, of course, going through mini game squared. Or mini squared game. I'm expecting some groans in chat from that one.
Alright, what's the first hit?
Let's see.
Jiffy Castle has no path to light.
So that's a how do you feel about this, Sonic? I love to see a no path to the light hit. Like, it's probably my favorite one.
Yeah, especially when you're in the world that is currently not hit.
Exactly. So very cool to see. You have to see if Adam finds anything in the shotgun portion here. Does get a drive gauge at least. Yeah, that is one of the reasons I think Disney Castle in this early portion makes a lot of sense, just because you do get those extra points and you can often get your first hint a little bit faster than your opponents that maybe don't go for this, as we're seeing from Dewey here. Adam trying to go with a bit of a Blizzard strategy, trying to improvise something there because he saw that his magic is so much higher. Wasn't quite working out for him, but he did adapt appropriately and use that Reflect. Got Dewey tackling Beast, going to get his first hint here as well.
Meanwhile, double digit up here.
Appropriate to be grabbing that one.
And another clear.
Another one, and it's done. Okay, interesting. So that is our next world to be depleted. And obviously does get that same hint that we saw from Adam. We'll see if that leads to a play for Dewey here to go into that world, go back into that world. And it looks like he's thinking about it, but decides ultimately to go to Agrabah and push through the Abu or minigame, or are they going to go for forcing final here?
Yeah, it looks like we're pushing on.
Yeah. Interesting, yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe with that hint, they are realizing that they're probably going to do that escort mission anyways, so maybe just thinking like, oh, that's another spot where final could be, maybe I'll wait. Maybe just earlier they didn't feel like doing this minigame for some reason, I'm not sure.
Yep. Especially when it is possible, Abu escort could just have that for.
Yeah, true. Adam are first into Hall of Bastion. Nothing major so far that I happen to notice. Still down that Thunder from Dewey, though. That is pretty major.
Yeah,
so in that early game,
but Adam does have Hyperburst.
That's true. That's true. And the Magnaburst is coming in handy. Fortunately, yeah, these Dusks can be quite obnoxious.
Yep.
And thankfully, like, you know, for Adam's sake, does have a Blizzard as well. And I feel like early on, you're looking for one of those ranged magics. You want Blizzard or Thunder pretty much as soon as possible, because that is going to just help you not have to chase enemies down. So having at least one of them is pretty good. Thunder obviously is the better one, but at least MP, or at least that Blizzard uses a little less MP. Yeah, and Dewey heading into Hall of Bastion as well, following suit. Adam opting to push Land of Dragons for his first world push, or is maybe just gonna do the missions, the third mission here for the point. But I have to imagine if Adam's coming here, he's looking with that magnet to do this. Oh no, actually just skipped over this world earlier. Okay, so probably will leave here at third mission then. I didn't notice Adam skip over this earlier.
Yeah, Adam hasn't shot done this yet.
Yeah. So then, yeah, I would guess that Adam is just going to get the point out of here for doing the third mission, and will probably go to Beast Castle from there, if I had to guess. Maybe decide to force final, but I think he's probably going to go to Beast Castle. We're going to see some more evening out of the players here, I think.
Yep, first mission free.
Yeah, for those who don't know, because I didn't know until this league started, I don't think. The way the game, or the way the tracker at least, calculates the progression points for Land of Dragons at the start here, it is not completing all of the missions that gives you the point for this spot. It's actually completing the third mission specifically. That is kind of the memory address that is checked for. So you can take advantage of that and do the third mission first, and worry about doing the other two missions a little later.
Also, yeah, once that is shot, mission free always has a set.
Yeah. It is the one with the check. That is fair. All right, we are seeing Dewey pushing the mouse now.
This is scary.
Yeah. For a second, I was wondering if he was trying to get low enough health for like an auto limit or something, but it doesn't have the auto limit Keyblade equipped that I can tell. Will Adam go for the damage abuse here, or the Trinity limit? Does go for the Trinity limit. The good old speedrun strat. Ultima straight into finisher. Ends this fight very quickly. But yeah, that's pretty much a wash from a low defense damage abuse.
Yeah, double also just has limit 4 as well, so our limit doesn't really matter.
That's true. That's true. That's right. Double does have that limit form. Forgot about that. If I'm not mistaken, once Adam goes through Beast Castle and Dewey goes through the Disney Castle shotgun portion here, I think Dewey will just be the Twilight Town shotgun behind. And Adam's, it's going to take longer to go through the Beast Castle thing. So I think it's just, they're going to be almost evened out on their shotguns.
Yeah.
From that point. Obviously, Adam also did a little bit of extra in Land of Dragons.
Yeah, double also went for Pooh's house as well.
That's true, yeah. Double did go to Pooh's house. A lot of players will wait to get a Torn Page, so you can check 6 checks there instead of 3. But if you aren't getting it in the shotgun phase, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with just going over there, because maybe a glide's been sitting there and you don't want it to sit there all seed.
Yeah, plus once you get a 4 page, you get spawned right next to Pooh's house.
Mm-hmm. So I am curious. I could absolutely see Dewey forcing final after Timeless here before dipping into Twilight Town at all.
Same.
Yeah, trying to you know, avoid a GOA revisit there. But that being said, I mean, Dewey has been the one who has seemed to be less afraid of doing these revisits. Obviously, Adam also getting to save some time here with a 1 cycle on Thresholder, using that Trinity Limit major drive up against the wall. Does one-shot that boss as long as you have... I think you have to have a certain amount of strength, right? Like 17 or something?
Magic.
For limit form? Magic. Oh, okay.
Yeah, strength is for limit form, magic is for premier limit.
Right. So let's see. I'm very curious. All eyes on the left here as we take a look at where Dewey is going to go next. Dewey dipping into STT. Okay, so I could see a full push here from Dewey because we did get that next hit.
Yeah. STT attack your connection.
Yeah, Simulated Twilight Town is on the path to connection. So outside of Disney Castle, which neither player is going to want to push further at the moment with just a single magnet and not the highest of stats yet. STT, you know, that's definitely an option. The name of the game with path hints is usually to chase the hints. And obviously Dewey does have Trinity Limit and Limit Form. So not the worst option here. Curious if Adam's going to follow suit or if... oh, actually, sorry. Dewey doesn't have Trinity Limit. Trinity Limit was Twilight Town, not Beast Castle, right? So does just have the Limit Form, but obviously handles it just as well. You save a handful of seconds at best by using Trinity Limit over Limit Form. Yeah. And obviously you get the advantage of being able to level Limit Form. Only one more level available to Dewey, but that is still one more level. I could see Dewey make kind of a half play here, you know? Go until Limit Form is level 4, maybe you go through Twilight Thorn, and then leave and come back a little later, maybe after forcing Final. There are options. There's definitely options here.
My skateboard tracks.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's faster than that Aerial Dawn level 3, Fly level 2.
I don't think it's faster than their current movement, but it definitely can be faster than some of the movement.
Yeah, for sure.
Now Adam has a choice to make. Does he finish off this boss for progression points even though the world's blue? Says no, and it's going to head into Port Royal with a 19 magic stat, Chicken Little, and a Thunder. I mean, I'm a big Port Royal lover for these early pushes, so this I totally agree with this one here. This makes sense. Going for the Reflect as well to end this even faster.
Yep. Levels are really good. Pro cool.
Absolutely. And this also does, because of using Chicken Little and Thunders here, this does allow Adam to kind of not have to worry about that finishing plus Keyblade with the lower stats for now. Can just go with the higher stats.
Meanwhile, Adam got Money Pouch off at level 14.
Got what at level 14?
Money Pouch.
Oh, Money Pouch. Okay, yeah, excellent. Excellent to see there. And yeah, you can see immediately just blowing through ethers after that. Unfortunately, no item boost available. Dewey working through STT is going to at least go through Twilight Thorn. Has maxed out Limit Form's level, but we're going to see Adam check these 4 chests while Dewey is just in kind of an auto-scroller of a fight to a degree. Oh, Reflect and Glide for Adam. That is pretty massive. And another Berserk charge. They did already have another one. The second one's not nearly as important as the first.
Yeah.
But that Glide is pretty big because that's kind of one of the disadvantages of doing STT early. While there are some advantages because you actually want to be lower statted to go through the struggle fights for STT sometimes. You do a lot of movement in STT. Like, you move through a lot of rooms and quite a few big rooms. So missing out on a Glide there will save Adam quite a bit of time if he goes through STT later over Dewey. Now, that being said, information is the name of the game in the path hint settings here. So nice negative combo. They're on level 15.
Yeah, I saw that they have an item boost on Wizard Lamp.
Yeah, that is an option. I have a feeling eventually, though, both players are going to end up on that finishing plus Keyblade unless they get an external one.
Yep.
And Adam, another advantage of coming here at this point is being able to experience boost.
Yeah.
So this is a timed fight. Timed fights, you know, it takes a minute no matter what, so you might as well try to get something else done during that time. The options in this particular seed were either level limit form or EXP boost, and Adam going for the EXP boost here. This makes a lot of sense. I know Adam is a player who values that experience boosting strategy very highly, and if you don't feel like you have the tools to go through the screens fight in Space Paranoids, well, hey, you might as well do a smaller EXP boost in somewhere like Port Royal, and then maybe that'll give you enough to be able to EXP boost those screens. Yeah, does get those torn pages on levels as well, and knows that he will not need to worry about levels from an info perspective this seed. Agrabah has no path to the light is our next hint revealed by Dewey there on the left, which does eliminate Halloween Town. Obviously, Halloween Town was already eliminated by being a blue world, so unfortunate that it didn't quite give new information, but it does provide another option in that mid-game for a place to go for more information. So
yep. Power form, okay.
Yeah, so
classic would that be here STT?
Yeah, connection could be an STT or Twilight Town. No other proof could be in either of those two worlds. Adam looked like he was maybe trying to EXP boost this, but I think he's going to play it safe instead. Yeah. And an ice cream being picked up by Dewey means there's now two things that point to regular Twilight Town.
Yep.
And actually opening some filler chests, maybe it just doesn't, you know, those chests maybe finds it slower to go ahead and turn the camera. Does get stitched there as well, which means Hollow Bastion is only going to have a proof of connection, if any.
Yep.
Cannot say with certainty yet that it is, you know, eliminated or has a proof or anything, but we can narrow it. We can eliminate, you know, proof of non-existence and proof of peace from that world, along with Twilight Town and STT.
Yep.
It's weird when you get a hint like, or when you get an item like Valor Form in STT with that hint, because in some ways you've just eliminated 2/3 of your chance of there being a proof here, but at the same time you guaranteed have an item in a hinted world that could put your proof where you are. So it's a little bit of kind of a double-edged sword there. And both players are opting to just fully clear their first choice of a deep dive world here. Not surprising by any means. I think this totally makes sense for either option.
Yep.
If you had to pick one, Sonic, which do you think you would have preferred in this seed going in? Taking that STT to follow the hint, or going for Port Royal for the stats and you know, EXP boosting and whatnot?
Probably SCP, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that level 4 is final for bonus point, so I could get limit 4 to level 5. Get that progression point.
Yeah, I do think at minimum I would have forced final as well, but either way, I think you can make an argument for either one. I think knowing me as a player, probably would have gone with the way that Adam went here, but I would have been nervous the entire time. Like, not knowing if it's the correct play by any means.
Right.
So Thunder Worlds are also now connection only, if anything. That is Land of Dragons, Pride Lands, and Olympus Coliseum. Those worlds cannot have the other two proofs.
Oh, I remember I was strapped for by double.
They're going for the Sonic Ray there.
Yeah. I always get dull for me right or not fair.
Now this is interesting. We're seeing Adam go through the mini game in 100 Acre.
Oh, did Adam not know Boo's house?
I did not catch. I guess not, because based on the progression
Yeah,
icons.
no progression icons for whatever race away.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised here with only one torn page going for this play. But,
Alright,
yeah, there's an option.
enter a
Yeah.
proof here, SCP on the quiet cloud on the back of the body systems, and peace.
Time to find out. Is this chest large? It is.
Proof
Wow. So
connection. Wow.
Dewey able to luck into an unconfirmed proof of connection there, and that additionally eliminates what, 5 other worlds.
Yep. Quiet Cloud, Alabasha, and the 3 Thunder Worlds.
That is pretty large. In fact, we now see Adam opting for Olympus Coliseum, a world that we know from Dewey does not contain a proof. So following that hint logic, following that knowledge here, at least in this case, working out quite well for Dewey.
Yep.
A little later to that glide maybe, but we'll take a proof over that glide every single time.
Yeah, so I think at this point, Double should just know somewhat where his true proofs have to be, almost. Between either the JP Castle, Space Termite, the World Never Was, or Port Rail.
Yeah, we are down to 5 worlds. 5 worlds for the other 2 proofs. So that still means you only have, what, a 40% chance in any given world?
Yep.
But that is a much better spot to be in. Now, obviously, we have seen many times before in these path in settings that sometimes the problem is not finding your proofs, but it's finding the world unlocks that get you to your proofs, as you do have to get all the way to the end of the story in each world, in each proof world, that is, in order to get that proof. So, very possible that something like Olympus Coliseum here for Adam could end up being required in the long run, but at the moment, we can't know that for sure.
Yep. Meanwhile, the hit that double disc got creates a quiet cloud. That means it is possible for Bobby Systems and MP to be a JP Castle and Space Termite.
Yeah, true. That kind of hint. So that's always an interesting kind of hint, because it doesn't eliminate anything exactly. Because it's hinting both of the other 2 proofs, and the item there is not necessarily the one that is, pointing towards those proofs in the end logic. This is an interesting play by Dewey. Like, I think a lot of players, when they know that Twilight Town's dead, would have just left. Like, would have done the shotguns and then moved on. But because of that hint, Dewey is going to go at least a little further here. We'll see if he stops at the base of the tower or carries on to the top. And is still grabbing a few of those filler chests as well. Partially might be because does not have that money pouch. Maybe wants a few free ethers here and there. Cannot be sure. Going with some Valor form leveling here. That is one of the other big advantages of climbing this tower, is you've got some good spots to level some of those drive forms, like Valor form.
Yep, if you have good close to go at the tower with you, like level it might be.
Yep.
But that was leaving, that makes sense.
Yeah, I absolutely think it makes sense as well. Was hoping to get some extra free info, maybe get lucky and have the world go blue after the station fight or something, but not going to be the case. And Adam in Olympus Coliseum did find its own world unlock.
Yep.
To go with that blizzard that they got in the shotguns. This has got another quick run as well. Nice little bonus there. And it looks like Dewey is going to level some drives here.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, this is
going out his way to do that.
This is a very interesting call. I mean, can get these forms to level 5 and could even go Force Final later afterwards to get more progression points.
Yeah, I want to level up Power Form off the tree, to be honest.
Yeah, screens would not be a bad spot. You could also do it in the minute fight in Port Royal.
Yep.
A little bit scarier. They're a little bit risky, of course. Or even going all the way through Agrabah.
Okay.
Agrabah and doing the Twin Lords, another option.
Yep. Level up Power Form in the Treasure Room fight.
Yeah, or even Master Form there with the Drive Converter.
Yep. Many places to level up Drive Forms.
Adam working with some Trinity limit into limit form for the MP refill and the free point. The free, not point, but experience point, that is, on the drive. Does look like we are going to see the screens EXP boost from Dewey here. Has to be a little careful here. That was an awkward amount of damage to take. And gets potions. Did not take off the potions from Tron, I think. It must have been it, right?
Oh, maybe, yeah, because Kron's like purple of the enemies.
Yeah, it does get under half health, though, now.
Yeah, I always set Kron for short cap because I do not like him purple of the enemies.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and I always take those items as well. Got a little bit lower so that Dewey could summon Stitch. Meanwhile, Adam found a picture and another Blizzard. Now, we know that picture is not going to be required for the proof itself, but could, lead to a world unlock, potentially.
Okay. So Adam didn't don't fight Hira?
Yeah. And I think this makes sense. Finish off the world, get more info. I would not be shocked if Adam's next play after this is to force Final. And then go through Twilight Town, because from his perspective, that simulated Twilight Town's still a little bit scary to do, a little bit slow. No, not even that slow, honestly, right now, but you never know if your opponent went for one of the longest worlds.
Yep.
Adam is going to be able to get some Master Form leveling done here as well. Cannot quite get to level 5 or anything like we can see from Dewey's side, but can still get working towards that. Both players with the same amount of hint knowledge at this point, like the same number of hints.
Yeah. Something else I noticed too is that we know Beast Castle has to be only packed with connection because of the limit form.
Yes, yeah, that will connection will be part of that hint, but that doesn't tell us any new information because there could be other parts of that hint as well.
I mean, there's Beast Castle and Albastian, or basically Eliminator for the SDP. Same with the Thunder.
Oh, you're saying like for Adam's sake here, or something. Well, but no, because Adam doesn't have that info from.
Yeah,
SDP.
I just say we know that because of Double. But yeah, how we pack the piece, Fire and Master Form. So that would be either that and Fright Labs would have proof of peace.
Yeah. All right, yep, there's the final forcing for Adam.
Yep.
Dewey seems to have decided to just opt against this seed.
Okay.
Not going to spend that time sink. Now, in an ideal world, this does save you time, like what Dewey is doing, not going for the final forcing. I think a lot of players find the tool of final form to be too useful for them, where it is worth that time sink, and they will kind of save that time back later, either in comfort or in speed. But every player's different. And Dewey, with our first death of the race, unfortunately, that is a pretty classic spot. That move just does do a ton of damage. Gonna have to redo a menu slightly there.
Yep.
Adam getting another anti-form.
Oh, hey, here's
Final. The final, yeah.
So not that bad. Crazy excited Keyblade with a 7.5 MP rate.
Yeah, is switching it over to a Fire Boost Keyblade though, because eventually those abilities are going to make more sense than the stats, and sometimes it makes more sense to just go ahead and do it early.
Yep.
Dewey trying to avoid using those clusters for a damage boost, but what you could see there was a little nervous about the moves there, a little gun shy after that death, understandably so, and now is going to be able to level limit form with a Ragnarok on the spell.
Okay.
Guess. Yeah, there we go.
4 pages of final level 2, and that's it. Meanwhile, a reflect on partial program, and that's it. Okay.
Yeah, so Space Paranoids is now out of the picture.
Yep.
Four worlds remain for these remaining two proofs. 50-50 call at this point.
Oh, I just realized too, Proof of Peace cannot be in Disney's castle because of the Halloween content.
Oh yes, that is a brand new hint. Both players just got that. So yeah, that is eliminated. Disney Castle is eliminated there.
Yeah, so yeah, Proof of Peace is an Agrabah confirmed because of the SCP has eliminated Brightlands. So they do have to offer civil car at some point.
Yeah, and help those tracking home that fire and the master form, they point to a combination of Hollow Bastion, Agrabah, and Pride Lands total, only those 3 worlds, and the other worlds, Pride Lands and Hollow Bastion, had been eliminated by Simulated Twilight Town. So we can see here with our handy little tracker there, Peace has to be in Agrabah.
Yep.
Connection.
But yeah, DoubleADewi could still have body sections. That is true.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think we might have a slight mistake there. I don't see.
Yeah, I'm not
a way for that to be eliminated, but
yeah.
I think earlier you were thinking due to that Twilight Town hint in the reflect that it might have been eliminated, but I don't think it quite is for non-existent. So
yeah, it's not for body sections for sure.
Yeah. So 33% chance for the others, but Peace is narrowed down to Agrabah exclusively. Now that is knowledge that is privy only to Dewey, I believe, because Adam has not gotten a hint for the world that he invested time into, Olympus Coliseum or Port Royal. Not that either would necessarily help all that much with the info.
Yep.
Whereas Dewey going for that early STT play, paying off quite well right now, is able to have the full knowledge that we're seeing on our tracker. Now, we don't know for sure if Dewey has put all of that together, obviously. We can only go off of what has been updated on the tracker there and make suppositions. But at this level, the players are pretty fantastic at figuring out this logic. And especially when you get a blue world with only 2 items in it, you can narrow that bit down pretty easily. Did decide to go for Disney Castle instead of Agrabah, though. Probably here just because you can fully complete this world. Don't need a world unlock for it, and it might help eliminate some of your remaining worlds for non-existence, even if it doesn't have the proof. So, not a bad call. Adam going through Twilight Town, as we were guessing earlier. From his standpoint, this just makes sense. Force Final after Hydra. Try to push through Twilight Town to get some more information off that hint.
Also, EXP boosted in that fight too.
Yep. And we'll see at the top here, but Adam might not get any additional info over Dewey out of Twilight Town. Of course, does have a final form at level 4, though, and we cannot forget that final fights in this game, they're not free, they're not easy, and final form does help you out in not only there, but in many of the fights in this game. So,
yep, but you always have set a level for Innocence Core.
That is true. Now, Dewey only able to get to level 28 during that EXP boost in screens. You generally want to hope to be somewhere more in the mid to high 30s there.
Yep.
But with only a single EXP boost and not perfect tools, hard to say. Time to see, did Dewey get another proof out of this?
Okay.
Does get proof of non-existence. Dewey is down to a scimitar search away from having all 3 of those proofs. Has not put that together yet, though. Or is forcing final here. We'll see. I would think that he would still go to Halloween Town if that was the play. Yeah, it looks like Dewey is taking a moment to kind of rethink the logic here.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what they want to do.
Yeah.
Dewey setting up. Adam, meanwhile, going for his own EXP boost in screens.
Yep,
and able to do it with final form. Yeah, so this is actually... I would expect Adam is going to end up a significantly higher level than Dewey was. But we'll have to see for sure. And Dewey going into Roxas, so Dewey has not realized everything about the logic here. He has marked Agrabah as peace now, but is still here. This is interesting.
I mean, if his only piece info is Quiet Cloud, and he doesn't really have pictures, so the most he can do for that is just that level KH2Rando, that's it. For
Yeah, but
the info.
I mean, I think you still got to go through Agrabah in that situation, right? Go through Agrabah 1, get yourself some more progression points, hope maybe you get another hint that gives you some more info.
Yeah. But we do know that Zimicar cannot be Agrabah, so...
That is true, yeah. We know it's not the same situation as if Agrabah were unhinted, in which case it would make a lot of sense to go... It would make the most sense to go through Agrabah, hoping to get the scimitar in the first visit,
Okay.
but that cannot happen here. The thing is, Dewey doesn't know drives are dead, and
Yep,
there is a non-existence hint on drives now. So Dewey might get a bit baited by that without that final form.
Yep, it is also possible to assume it's just a core page, so...
Oh, there's skill and crossbones. That would have been wild if that was a scimitar right there.
Yeah.
So, just to give everybody a little bit of an update on the crown progress here, as I like to call it, crown check, for our two players. Dewey sitting at a silver crown with 2 of his proofs, connection and non-existence. Did acquire both of those in, you know, it's very common to say the term, you know, lucked into them or something. No, it's still very good and well-informed play, but did acquire those 2 proofs without definitive knowledge that that's where the proofs were. That is really what the equivalent of that statement actually means. Whereas Adam sitting at no proofs, no crowns to his name, a man, a pauper in poverty, wanting that crown from the Royals. But, you know, does have some knowledge that could play to his advantage, most notably the fact that drives are blue with a torn page on final form, I believe it was level 3. So
no, level 2.
Level 2, okay. So that is pretty big, because currently Dewey has no final form. And if you are to kind of think about how, or at least believe how powerful final form can be, in that way, Adam should theoretically save time in any fight that you can use final form in, more or less, over the fights that Dewey is doing. Whereas Dewey is going to, you know, opt not to spend the time investment to force it. So it's kind of a catch-22. It takes the time to acquire that final form, but the final form itself could save you all of that time back and more, or it could save you less time back and have been an ultimate time waster. So you can't know until the seed's played out. And Adam, with that final form, going to hop into Olympus Coliseum 2. This makes sense. It is unhinted at the moment, which is not ideal, and you might think maybe Adam could have played towards that Disney Castle instead, since at least that would eliminate some worlds for him. But Olympus Coliseum is the only, you know, major world unlock that he really had available. And if you don't know where to go, and you don't have knowledge on your, you know, full knowledge on your proofs, then it's never a bad idea to just push a world that you can fully complete.
Yeah, meanwhile, this is a very good fight for double. Got the loop. And a thunder, and it's done. Great.
Great job with the action loop there. Grabs the thunder, and yeah, that is going to end it. So, does get a magnet out of it as well. Magnera is extremely helpful. In some ways, almost more helpful than a level 1 magnet. And gets a world unlock too. So, worst case for Dewey, if Port Royal is a destination that he is going to have to go to, he can at least complete that world now.
Yep.
Of course, Dewey without final form cannot be leveling that here, so is going to just try to defeat these enemies for a little bit of extra experience. Notably, earlier when talking about the XP boosting, Adam sitting at level 33, Dewey sitting at level 30 just got that on that previous ramp. So
yeah, double Adam's probably wanted the progressive points off the level 30.
Yeah, that'd be the case. Or just wants more stats, you know? Can't
too.
Sneeze at more stats. And is going to go ahead and chase that Port Royal. So I think for Dewey, this makes sense. I mean, I do still think it's a little surprising Dewey has not gone to Agrabah yet, just to go ahead and clear that first visit, finish it off. Just so you know, are there any other world locks here or anything like that? We know that it won't be you know, we know that Scimitar won't be there, so it's not like a major rush to go over there. But I think it's just it's not really even anything wrong with it with the way that Dewey's going now. I think it just tends to be how a lot of the other rando players would have played. So not by any means really a criticism, more just a surprise here. And I think Port Royal, though, does make sense as the next world to push. It's unhinted, which at this point is your best option, and you can try to maybe do some limit form leveling, maybe some master form leveling with drive converter, because that is the only other quote-unquote world that you could be going for. And a Sword of the Ancestor found by Adam could be helpful if there's a chain push there.
Yeah, I got a little bit excited for a second because I saw that icon, but realized it was Sword of the Ancestor.
Yeah, not Scimitar. Yeah. Adam switching that FPS back does actually drop down to 30 FPS for that Berserk Charge strategy on Hades there, and is going into Simulated Twilight Town. Will finally be equalizing a lot of the knowledge that Dewey has had for most of the seed at this point. Yep. And of course is going to ultimately find that proof of connection at the end of this world. Now if you're in, you know, these players' shoes, Dewey obviously sitting at 2 proofs knows that, you know, he got both of them without being fully confirmed as those worlds. You got to feel like you're in a pretty good spot. You're probably in the lead here, but you're in a scary situation of going, well, I have to just keep looking for Scimitar, and I don't know when it'll show up. My opponent probably forced final, and I haven't, and that's scary because of the hint on drives. Whereas Adam, you know, once he gets this proof at the end and sees how many worlds, you know, kind of get eliminated here, I think that could make him quite nervous, knowing that he went through all of Olympus Coliseum, went through, you know, some of Twilight Town. Little interesting to see how the players will play after their current visits. Obviously, we expect Dewey to go straight into the second visit for Port Royal.
Yep.
Since nothing will have changed by the end of the first visit here in terms of the knowledge, the information. But for Adam, I am very curious how he moves, you know, what world he decides to go to after Simulated Twilight Town. Is he going to go for that Disney Castle? Is he going to try to kind of play to his opponent, like play the metagame a little bit and realize, well, one of my best options here, one of my best hopes of winning here after doing all of the OC visit is hoping that Land of Dragons or Twilight Town is hard required and push one of those, hoping to look for a world unlock that matters. I don't know. We'll have to see how these players move about.
Okay, Twilight has the pack no light. I just saw that. Maybe we should have come up via Prightlands.
And it does also eliminate the magnet worlds for Adam as well.
Yep.
So Adam was able to know that Port Royal is dead for proofs, but of course Dewey is not here for a proof. Dewey is here looking for that Scimitar. So.
Yep.
But at the moment, we're just kind of having both players cross over, catch up a little bit on content that the other player has already done. So I think we could probably bring that logic tracker back up just to show anybody who missed it what we're currently working with here. We are certain of all 3 locations, and Dewey has basically had all of the same knowledge that we as commentators have had throughout this seed, minus maybe a minor thing here or there, but all of the important things. So Dewey does know definitively where that third proof, that proof of peace, is in Agrabah, whereas Adam still has been able to narrow some worlds down, you know, knock a few things off the list, but I don't think knows for sure where any proof is.
All right, I just realized
after this world.
Yeah, I just got these castle head a while ago too.
The Beast Castle. Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. Forgot to point that out before.
Yeah, so that is probably... Yeah, that actually is probably why Adam is here. He can't go any further in Hollow Bastion. Simulated Twilight Town could have connection based on that Beast Castle hint. And of course, it is a world that he's had the hint to for a while, so...
Yeah.
Makes sense. But the only other worlds hinted by that Beast Castle are Beast Castle itself and Olympus Coliseum, both of which are blue for Adam. might be another reason why he went for that Olympus Coliseum 2 play when he did earlier. But yeah, I believe Simulated Twilight Town, as we're seeing from Zach in chat there, is, I mean, it's what eliminated almost everything for Dewey. It was only a few other things to help supplement that, and mostly just getting newer hints, not so much picking up new items. So once Adam does finish this world, he should have the same knowledge. Not quite the same knowledge that Dewey has, but the same proof knowledge. Like the same, should be able to figure out where all 3 proofs are. He'll, of course, acquire one here, but should be able to know where the others are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right now, Adam, you know, as he goes through and picks up the items, won't know if it's Twilight Town or Simulated Twilight Town, but obviously, he'll... there's no reason you'd go to struggles and not finish this world, basically, unless it turned blue on you earlier. Sure. So, yeah, so he's going to go all the way to the end. He'll grab that proof.
Well, obviously, Similar is in PC3 for Adam. He's in a good spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is the other thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, Sonic. So the advantages for Dewey is that he's going into Port Royal 2 right now. Does get membership card out of it, which, hey, I mean, anytime you get a world lock in a second visit, you're like, okay. This, I might have this over my opponent. Gonna get a second one here.
He's caught that.
We know that one's not useful, so.
So mid-fight plus double if you haul back to 2.
Yeah, almost certainly going to go there next. High density for checks, still unhinted, so could still have that scimitar. Still can't do any better for, following hints besides making a dedicated push for the Master Form leveling, which also Hollow Bastion is good for anyways. So that is absolutely going to be the next play here for Dewey. But yeah, as you were getting at earlier, for Adam, the big hope is that either Twilight Town 3 or LOD 2 has that scimitar, because again, he doesn't know that that's what he's looking for yet, but he will figure that out soon enough.
Yeah.
Through the end of this world. And that Twilight Town 3, it's got a lot of checks, very similar to Hollow Bastion 2. It's kind of a toss-up here. Could really be either one. The one advantage to Twilight Town is that it does already have that hint pointing towards non-existent. Or, sorry, excuse me, pointing towards peace. You're going to get some checks from Dewey here. You can also see that, they did just get the latest hint of Sora's Heart is on the path to non-existence and peace. Doesn't really mean anything. They knew that was the case anyways, since, well, at least Dewey did, because both those proofs are in Torn Page Worlds. We're getting some new info here, so that's why we're going to be focused in on Dewey. Adam's still wrapping up that Simulated Twilight Town. Still sitting at 8 drive gauges there for Dewey, so going to be picking up those stat chests, hoping to grab a 9th. I imagine after that, he might start skipping them. Hard to believe it's just only over an hour here, but you can tell that the players are going to be feeling pretty comfortable with their with those bonus reward chests otherwise. Is still picking up those weapon chests as well. Flare Force hasn't been found. There is also the possibility of like a double negative combo, which could be helpful if any super bosses end up being required. Of course, one of those negative combos was found, but the other could be sitting on a Keyblade. I am curious if at any point Dewey is going to bite the bullet and decide to force final. What do you think, Sonic? Do you think that's something that could happen here? Or do you think Dewey's going to hard commit to just hoping to either find it or not needing it?
At this point, I would assume Double is hoping to find Final Form instead of forcing it.
It's a fire
core.
Yeah, first chest and core there. Got 7 up front here to check for free. There's a Torn Page coming out of this chest. So we know there will be a non-existence and peace hint here, which means that the scimitar could be here. Oh, gets a little low health, and unfortunately, no once more to protect him. No second chance or once more for our competitors here. Very, only fairly quick deaths for Dewey. I would say the first one with Hostile Program was a little bit longer, a little bit more brutal, but also just trying to help even out this race after grabbing the 2-proof lead. Adam about to make that a 1-proof deficit here at the end of Simulated Twilight Town.
Yep, which I was not horizontal slash.
Horizontal slash. Now, Dewey has already fought through Zigbar, which is, one of the key places you want it, but obviously still a very powerful ability. Always helpful to have. And opting to fight through it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's it. You have my Mara of the death.
Absolutely agree. Still sitting like the stats, unfortunately, in the last few levels have not been super kind to Dewey. Like it didn't just kind of keep ramping up. But I think if I've got Stitch and Chicken Little, I'm pretty comfortable in both of these fights in most situations, right? These first 2 fights.
Yep. Meanwhile, Adam's pressure through coming further now. Finishing that.
Has either made that deduction based on the info that he got there in Simulated Twilight Town, or has just decided that this is the next best place for him to push. I think that either way, this was the next best play for him, right?
Yeah, definitely for sure.
As soon as Twilight Town becomes dead via that STT proof, it's just you might as well push through.
However,
one way or the other.
Yeah, after this, I wouldn't be surprised if Adam still knows who's KH3 either way.
I agree. I think knowing Adam's playstyle, just having done a lot of seeds with Adam, I think he'll likely do Agrabah 1 first. It's easy for us to reason about the logic here when we're not having to execute, but it's very possible that Adam has not made all of the same deductions yet that are available to him. And so doing something like Agrabah 1 gives you the opportunity to kind of turn your brain off from the execution side a little bit and spend more of it on the logic side. So just gives you an opportunity to confirm your suspicions. We've got a final form from Dewey. Does end up paying off, not going for the forcing strategy earlier. Finds that final form in core. Now, will Dewey level it to find that torn page sooner rather than later? That question is still yet to be answered, but now, how do you feel about Stitch in this fight, Sonic? Because I'm a firm Chicken Little believer for the second core fight here.
Seems to be pretty nice here too. Obviously, besides when a death happens.
Yeah. Little tough. Of course, the option to dismiss Stitch and go for final form is also here. Seeing a menu from Dewey. I wouldn't be surprised if this menu ends in a drive recovery, but no, it does not. Still going to stick with Stitch here for probably their comfort play.
Yeah, what I usually like to do in this fight is just once enemies respawn, then go to the right corner, just kind of bait them towards you.
Yeah.
And then just reflect if you might it, essentially.
Yeah.
That way, it's a tricky perfectly set up for the next wave too.
Especially with no second chance once more, it's a very tricky fight. You have a lot of enemies invulnerable to thunder. That is one of the biggest reasons this fight is difficult. Now, Reflect is definitely your biggest friend. Magnet following close behind, as you were talking about there for this fight. But without second chance once more, even if you manage to get a Reflect or a Magnet up, sometimes those enemies may have already popped an attack out that is going to end up taking you out anyways. And as we all know, this is a post-game area. Coming here at level 33 was never intended. So, I mean, it's doable in the game. It's not a hard required post-game area, but it certainly is not the expectation.
Nah, that this fight at Innocent Saber, if I remember correctly, or a higher battle level, essentially.
Yeah.
I know Crashport is around level 75 or so, but Crashport isn't off, so...
Right.
I just don't remember what the battle level is for the second fight.
I thought Dewey was about to get hit there after that Reflect fell a little short, but thankfully did not. Gonna go check these chests here.
Alright, that makes sense.
And time to see the last two. The fighting was not necessarily worth it, especially not with those deaths. So unfortunate for Dewey, but is going to start leveling Master Form on his way out. I think this makes a ton of sense.
Alright, where's Adam going?
Yeah, Adam just got a second proof, heading straight to Twilight Town. So not going to bother with Agrabah 1 just yet. Now, I will say, to both players' credit, the one advantage to waiting on Agrabah is that once you do have that scimitar, that you are just able to completely finish the world. You don't have to, take a trip over to the world that never was to progress story or anything like that. You can just straight up continue all the way through.
Nice clever shot on that fry recovery crap.
Yeah, and Dewey going to go ahead and take the shortcut out via the out of bounds there. Did get that master form all the way to level 6, I believe, which is the highest that he can get at the moment. No wisdom form appearing for either runner at the moment. Nice fire showing up for Adam.
All right, now
the problem
4 pages.
The problem with finding once more found by Adam. That's nice.
Okay.
The problem with finding a fire there is a fire does point towards Agrabah. So you now have at least one thing pointing towards Agrabah. Of course, the world just turned blue after that once more in Blizzard. So Twilight Town is not the answer. And yeah, I think this makes sense for Adam. He can't know that the world that never was is not the answer. And Adam's probably about to follow the same line of play that we saw from Dewey. Gonna get that skill in Crossbones in the world that never was. Gonna head through Port Royal 2 since he's already completed the first visit. And unfortunately, we just know that is not going to be what matters, especially now with the membership card revealing a blue Hollow Bastion as of picking up that wisdom form. So Dewey going through 100 Acre. This is one of the... Is this the only remaining spot, actually?
Land
of Dragons is still available as well. Yeah, it looks like we're getting our tracker here to I think we're tracking like where can the scimitar be. Now it cannot be in Agrabah, we know that, so it's either in 100 Acre or LOD, I believe.
Yeah. Plus, in the world number 1 for Element Savage, it's just not him, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this absolutely makes sense. You can't fault Adam for this play whatsoever.
Nope.
He did already have the genie, so does know that there is something that hints Agrabah here already. So knows full well going here that like there might be nothing that comes of it, but you still have to make that play.
Yeah.
This is not quite going to finish off Roxas for him, so does he have a backup plan here? He has enough drive gauge to go into limit form again. So going to go for the reflect and then probably... didn't quite get the burst. Going to have to... barely finish him off there with the Ars Arcanum. And we see Dewey continuing on through the second torn page. So the kind of the big interesting factor here is if Land of Dragons is where the proof is. Where the scimitar is.
Yeah.
Then
it's literally not him too, so.
If now I believe torn pages still haven't been, right?
There is one torn page remaining.
Yeah, they have still not been hinted, so it still is available for either world. But here's the thing: we know Adam's gonna chase. We know what logic he's probably about to chase, right? He doesn't strictly have to now that he got that hint for Land of Dragons, but I wouldn't be shocked if he still decides to go to Port Royal first.
Also, Adam got the available from Duplex.
Oh, excellent. At least this is a place where you can leave them.
Yep.
But here's the thing. If the scimitar is in Land of Dragons and not in the torn pages, do you think Adam's ahead?
Honestly, I would say so, yeah.
I would say so as well. Now, if it's in torn pages, obviously we see Dewey going through this now. That is... Dewey would be the one ahead. If it's in Starry Hill, who knows? Because the last torn page might be in Land of Dragons. it could be sitting there.
Yeah.
I don't believe, Adam doesn't have any torn page info over Dewey, so.
Nope.
But even if that's the case...
Adam did not have into the Hollow Bastion, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Adam would still have to go through Hollow Bastion, so Dewey... It would be hard to tell who's ahead at that point. For sure, but let's see. Spooky Cave, if this doesn't have the scimitar, then this is going to be very interesting. Now, worth noting, because I think it's very common that with these hint settings, sometimes we get what is called like a blind hunt for a world unlock.
Yep.
We're not really quite at a blind hunt yet, right? Like, we're still looking for the world unlock of a world that has a proof in it. So because Scimitar is what we're looking for here, and Agrabah has proof of peace, it means that wherever the Scimitar is hinted by proof of non-existence. So, or proof of peace. My apologies. I keep mixing those two up. So as a result, that means like it's still not quite blind. Like they both can route around their hints efficiently. And Dewey, 2 checks here on Pooh. Is one of them going to be the Scimitar? Or is he off to the races when it comes to hunting?
All right, sorry.
Wow. Wow. So Dewey's gonna think. Yeah, Dewey's going to Agrabah 1 to think. That is 100% the right play here.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, this makes full sense. Like, Dewey should be doing this. Adam, very interesting, and I think had some real good foresight here. Realizes, listen, my opponent probably did the world that never was a while ago, or at least might have, right?
Yep.
I don't have a hint for Port Royal. I have a hint for Land of Dragons. I have not gotten anything that points to Agrabah out of that hint yet. I'm going to go to Agrabah. And we find our last glide, by the way, on Wisdom 3 for Dewey. But yeah, so Adam's saying, I'm going to go to Land of Dragons. I've got a non-existence hint there. Could have Scimitar. At minimum, until I find a torn page, I'm going to Land of Dragons. He might bail if he finds a torn page or a fire here. He might end up leaving. Yeah. Because I think that would be, fair. We know that he won't find a fire because the last one is in Hall Bastion. Yep. But if he finds that final torn page, Adam could decide to continue or could make the play to leave. But either way, we're not sure. Dewey is at this point in a blind hint mode, or a blind hunt mode, because Dewey knows that he needs to either go to Twilight Town or Land of Dragons. And I mean, I guess hasn't been through the first visit of Land of Dragons, so could at least do that before without it being a blind hunt. But
yeah, could also be in Sorry Hell.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is Dewey one way or another either needs a torn page, which is hinted to by proof of peace, or needs the Scimitar directly, which is hinted to by proof of peace. So I think after this, Dewey's most likely situation is to go straight to Land of Dragons, to try to hope that Scimitar is within the first visit there, or the torn page is. And that would be, his next play. But if it's not, if it's in the second visit, then Adam is in a pretty good spot. If the torn page is in the second visit and it's in Starry Hill, then we still have a huge race on our hands. So there's the Scimitar. Oh, wow. My God. Adam finding it there right before the summit fight in Land of Dragons. Adam, I mean, outside of some miracle for Dewey. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to take back what I was about to say. Adam still has to finish off the first visit here.
Yeah.
Dewey's about to go to Land of Dragons. I think we're about to have one extremely close race here.
Yeah, we are.
There is Land of Dragons. Wow. Now, the thing is, Adam did have the Mission 3 and this camp fight up on Dewey. So Dewey does have to go through that extra little bit of content compared to what Adam had to a moment ago. But this is still going to be very close.
Yep, Adam's low is a little bit lower too.
Yeah, about 40 seconds, a little over 40 seconds lower. So Adam, I would still give this one to Adam at the moment, is currently in the lead.
We're at double doubling.
Oh no.
Double, where are you going?
Is he going to finish Twilight Town? He's going to finish Twilight Town. Yeah. So this makes sense. Like, I don't think this is the worst play.
Yeah, I think fair.
I think he should have stayed in Land of Dragons because he had already gone there. And it's like, at that point, you're kind of picking between one or the other. Maybe you just stay at the one that you already picked. Yeah. But like, if he had gone here coming out of Agrabah 1, I think that totally makes sense. You just finish off what you can do here real quick. Maybe you're lucky and it turns blue or you get the Scimitar. Like, you just get that info off the table so you don't have to think about it anymore. Yeah. I think that's totally fine. That makes sense. And if you find the picture here, you have the highest stencil location available to you in Twilight Town 3. So, Dewey making a perfectly valid play here.
Yeah.
I think, like, personally, if I'm in Land Dragons in that situation already, maybe you just decide, I'll just go here. But I could also see being nervous about, thinking about your opponent, what they've done, what they haven't done.
Yeah.
So this is going to firmly put Adam in the lead, because Twin Lords here is going to be the last thing Adam needs to do to catch up on Dewey's progress above him.
Yeah, that also makes sense too, because Double might assume, oh, I probably get the core page potentially.
Yeah, that as well. But, the same could be true of Twilight Town, so same with the fire as well.
I mean, you already have the reflect, so like that already points to Disney's castle.
Well, sure, but the non-existence and the piece don't have to have like the same hint or anything, so or
right.
They don't have to have the same item as what is being hinted. So, yeah, obviously cannot go any further in Twilight Town now, so I expect that Dewey will return right back to Land of Dragons. If Dewey doesn't go back to Land of Dragons here, then I think he's going for a bit of a meta play. And
right.
Yeah, isn't going to Land of Dragons. So I think Dewey is assuming if it's Land of Dragons, I've lost. Like, that's all I can kind of assume in this situation. I think Dewey is playing to the point that if it's LOD, he's lost. If it's not, he needs some unlock, right? LOD2, OC2. If I'm in his shoes there, I need, or the picture for that matter.
Yeah, the picture.
Yeah, the picture is probably the biggest one he's thinking of.
Yep.
Unfortunately for Dewey, not the case. We do know that had he continued on into Land of Dragons, he would have found that scimitar, but you gotta kind of make those plays in a 1v1 race, right?
Yep,
like
absolutely.
You're not, when you're playing in a large race with a large group of people, you're not playing to necessarily be the first place opponent, right? Like, especially in a randomizer, like you really shouldn't think of it that way. You are playing to be above average, more or less. Like you're trying to play to the best of your ability. And in that kind of situation, I think you 100% would go to Land of Dragons here. But if you are playing to your opponent in a 1v1 scenario and realize, I could have done Land of Dragons forever ago, my opponent probably did, I need to make a play that plays to my particular win condition in this case.
Right.
And you decide to make that evaluation that my win condition is not Land of Dragons, my win condition is Twilight Town 3 due to my early STT push or what have you, then that's totally fair. We're all going to make those evaluations differently, and sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. This is the case of not quite paying off for Dewey.
Yep.
Took a strong start with that double proof situation at the beginning of the seed, but at the end of the day, the hints reign supreme. That knowledge is what ultimately led both of our players' decisions all along, and they ended up with the same number of hints. If it comes down to a world lock hunt and you're keeping up in hints with your opponent, that's really all you can ask for at the end of the day, and in this case, it's going to work out for Adam.
Yep.
We are seeing a nice Marluxia fight here from Dewey. Having to sit through a DM or two, especially here with Donald, unfortunately resting, not able to use that Flare Force to try to keep the boss staggered. Don't think it would have been enough anyways, but thankfully these DMs do, that one in particular does give you an opportunity to get a double reflect, is going to be able to revive Donald and go for the Duck Flare finish. Get the magnet, unfortunately not the world lock that Dewey was hoping for. Yeah, we, of course, because of seeing Adam go through Olympus Coliseum earlier, know that picture and the Olympus Coliseum unlock are both residing in OC. And yeah, I think at this point, Dewey's cutting his losses, saying, I can't keep hunting blindly. I gotta follow the hint. Maybe my opponent made a royal mistake somewhere or something. And wow, just unfortunate noticing, if Dewey did not notice that Twilight Town, it was like just kept through Land of Dragons, we would have one absurdly close race on our hands.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is what it is. Everyone's going to make their own calls in a late game situation like this, and those nerves are real. that mindset
Yeah,
of knowing
absolutely.
my opponent hasn't finished yet, but I feel like I'm wasting time. I feel like I've taken a long time. I gotta make a play.
Yep.
It's always hard. And it hasn't even been the longest seed in the world. It feels like it in some ways because of how early, and I'm sure it feels like it for Dewey because of how early he got those 2 proofs and has ever since been searching for that scimitar.
Yep.
I mean, he had both of them in under an hour, I think, or if not just past the hour.
Yeah, or like around 45 minutes real time.
Yeah, it was very early. Whereas Adam didn't come across his first proof until close to that hour mark. But it's not the first 2 proofs that matter in path hints. It is the third one. Actually, it's true of all proof-based rando goals. Well, we know that Port Royal is dead.
Yep.
we knew that anyways, but
yep.
Adam going to be heading into the room here, the chamber. Now, no stat over 40. I was just about to ask, do you think Adam's going to go for some EXP boosting here? Only going to pop the 1, just was close to another level. Didn't quite get a magic reward out of it.
Yeah.
But still, stats are perfectly acceptable here, and you've got virtually every tool you would want but second chance. So, you know, there are other niceties that could be had. A Magnega, for Adam a horizontal slash. But the core elements that you need, some kind of crowd control, Magnera, Chicken Little, Final Form, if you can have it as well. They're all there.
Nice as well, if me too.
Yeah, Stitch as well. They're all there for Adam, so he's going to have...
GB is also very good as well, with like Master GB tracks, Power GB.
Going to have a pretty comfortable time here. And, you know, we can lament around decisions that were made as well, but we can't ignore the execution factor. Adam, deathless in this seed.
Yeah, no. I think Adam died once.
Did he? I don't recall Adam dying. He might have. We'll see.
Yeah, he died in Agrabah 2.
Oh, in Agrabah 2. Okay, I was watching Dewey fully at that point, so I might have missed that one.
Yeah, the carpet fight.
Regardless, Adam rocking 1 death to Dewey's 4, it looks like. So a lot of Deweys were fast, but they do start to stack up, and you know he might have been able to afford that decision, you know, that audible that he pulled going to Twilight Town and going from Marluxia. Might have been able to afford those kinds of plays if he had not had those deaths. Obviously, we know Adam did all of Olympus Coliseum in what ended up being an unnecessary manner, and same with Twilight Town 3. So it does all, you know, they can all become even in the end. But we know Dewey also did Port Royal too. But this was an interesting one. I think this seed, to me at least, I don't know if you feel the same way about this or not, Sonic. Let me know. This seed felt like a really good showcase of just how 2 different play styles can play out. One that is very strict about following hints and chasing hint info, even if you're you know, maybe having to go to a slower world to do it. And one that is more about playing to your tools, playing to your comfort, playing to regularity to a degree, and getting a bit more information first and then playing to those hints. And it, you know, both of them were just about even. For by the end of the seed, they could have been just about even. So hard to say that one is better than the other or anything.
Yeah. Adam be escape with session tracks.
Yeah, dismissed Chicken Little here and then went into session.
Yeah, he fell off the drive a little bit faster.
Yeah, but I am a little surprised that he didn't just keep Chicken Little out.
I mean, all the mob fights were done, so...
Yeah, but it does... I'm not sure that session was faster than just, you know, popping an Ether and throwing some Thunders out.
Right.
But did end up getting back to the 3 drives, so that's what matters. If he wants to get back to a limit form, he'll naturally get there anyways, I would expect, over the next 2 fights, but also could just summon Chicken Little or something at the end of this one to get back to full drive.
Yep.
Dewey making it through the carpet section, about to it looks like going for a little cheeky save warp here.
Yep, saves kind of a little less.
That's true. Heading into Genie Jafar. Should hopefully have no issues with this stat level. Dewey actually
Yep.
rocking higher strength, Adam with the higher magic, probably largely in part due to some of those accessories that Dewey found during that early filler chest search.
Yep. We did see Adam get beat up by TV Safara earlier.
That's true. Adam did have to sit through that as well. So Dewey could save some of that time back here, but would at this point take some serious deaths from Adam for Dewey to take this one away. We've seen it happen before, though. We've definitely seen people be first to final Xemnas and still end up giving up the seed. But
Yeah.
out of the, I wouldn't expect that out of either of these racers, right? With their current tools and stuff. I think,
Yeah, for
players of this
sure.
caliber, they're going to feel pretty confident going into final fights here. The only big thing is those nerves. If your heart's beating in your chest real hard for both players right now. They're both in final fights. They haven't seen their opponent finish yet. Like, it's beating pretty hard. So that could affect your play.
Oh, double death here. I wonder if it was accountable for the menu.
I don't think so. That looked like he just was trying to. If you have level 4 glide, you can barely beat that building out, but looks like there was some minor mistake there.
Okay, yeah, minor mistake.
Yeah, just gonna go with the reflect this time.
That was on top of a building.
Always funny when that happens.
Yep.
Adam heading into final Xemnas.
Yeah, it could maybe be because the aerial does level 3 as well, so you might just be
It could be.
both.
I think it makes it a bit tighter, but I think you can make it with even lower aerial dodge as long as you got that glide 4.
Right.
And with the tried and true reflect and reaction boost strategy there. Waiting for Xemnas to come down.
Yep. He is not coming down right now. Now
Yeah,
you.
Okay, that was a very odd way of Final Xemnas doing this thing.
Okay.
Okay, he could have gone for like the R's or something there and pushed him safely in the middle, but gonna just go with the reflex. One more shouldn't quite push him. This next one, he's gonna wait for a slightly different setup, reflect into the session, going for a dome skip, and should pretty comfortably have it here. Yeah, and that'll be time for Adam.
Yep.
Adam takes this one with a 1:23:08 loadless. We already see a higher time than that out of Dewey, so not going to be some kind of loadless upset here at the end. But a very close race nonetheless. Dewey, I'm sure, going to be kicking himself over that Twilight Town play, but again, if Marley had your picture and Twilight Town was your scimitar, then this race flips the other way potentially. So
yep, for sure.
You just can't know, and you especially can't know what your opponent's doing. Big GGs to Adam. Be moving on.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull up that bracket and see.
Well, I'm super impressed too because Double is also a really hard opponent to win against.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in races with Dewey where they end up finishing, many minutes ahead of me. Unfortunately, no second chance there. Still coming into play here in core. Like, their stats are decent now, but like, you still, it's much nicer when you can just have stats that are in the high 40s to 50s here. Just fly through things. Going with Stitch as well instead of like final form. Only a level 3 final form, so makes sense. Not going to last the entire fight, so Stitch is going to help you out with that MP, help you out with deflecting some of those attacks. And of course, Dewey does have Magnega.
Yep.
To Adam's Magnera earlier.
Yep.
Thanks to
with the last time it was, from Marluxia.
Yep. But yeah, taking a look at the bracket as Dewey makes it through the engine core.
Yep.
Looks like Adam will be taking on the winner of Mega Slim versus Lord Raiden. So that'll be interesting, to say the least.
And Russian final flight throughout on Orbit Members.
Oof. See, and at this point too, at least I don't have the race time open. We can't know, like, maybe Dewey has already seen that Adam won here and is, I think it's quite likely, has already seen Adam win here. At that point, your execution's going to change a little bit, right?
Yep.
Adam doing us a favor, rating to give us an instant replay in the bottom right corner.
Yep. Stream over the stream. The GG of that Adam.
Yeah, very good race between these two. Again, to recap for anyone coming in right at the end, the story of the race was Dewey pushing Simulated Twilight Town very early, getting the proof of connection, heading over into Disney Castle, not immediately after, but later on, getting that proof of non-existence. Both of them not guaranteed at the time, and getting a lot of info and being able to actually determine where his proof of peace was before Adam even had a single proof. But unfortunately, it's not the way this works with those second visit locks. Gotta find that scimitar, and there were still many options available with that, since Agrabah was is a torn page world. There are quite a few things that hint it. Those torn pages, the fires, and of course the summon and world lock. And that hunt for the world lock came down to the wire, very, very close, but some, potentially meta decisions here not quite playing in Dewey's favor. Never quite certain when you are in that situation just how well your opponent's doing, and so you gotta play to your gut.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in this case, did not quite work out for Dewey. Still a fantastic show though. Fantastic showing. Is.
Yep, double do it 80% strat share.
Yeah, I love the grounded combo. Always my go-to as well. Gets me killed sometimes, but Dewey maybe wasn't sure if they could do another reflect on that MP bar. You definitely can, but you're watching a lot of things in the moment there. Decides to opt for the full kind of cutscene there instead. A little more damage in here on the lasers. The timing yeah, just a little late. It's really tough. You actually have to do the timing so much earlier than you think here.
I'm right here. Okay.
Limit form finish.
Wow.
128-22 loadless there for Dewey. GG to both combatants here.
Yep.
And what was a very exciting one to watch. A race where the two players took things in wildly different directions.
Yeah, this was a good race to watch for sure.
Yeah, it really took a long time for things to kind of sync back together, and both, neither doing the absolute minimum amount of content that one could have done in this seed with perfect knowledge, which is always kind of what you want, I think, as a viewer in one of these races. But that extra content that they each did, while not the same, kind of evened itself out quite a bit, and we went into that scimitar location discovery thinking that this was damn near a tied match, but unfortunately, last minute decisions there, giving Dewey, just making him take a little bit longer, a little bit too long, and Adam secures a win here, moving on into the quarterfinals.
Yep. Where Adam will be facing either Metaslim or Raven, whoever wins on that race.
Yes, that is going to be a fun one to watch as well. We got many more matches to come here on KH2FM Rando in the league, so thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been a fun one to commentate. This is my first time commentating for the league, I think, at least in a while.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Sonic, for joining me as well.
No problem.
Yeah, this is a very fun one. Highly recommend to catch the VOD if you missed it. It sounds like we're gonna raid Ragnoth. Actually, Ragnoth being my opponent in the winners round 1. So we will see when that gets scheduled. Currently waiting to hear back from him, so excited for that one myself. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.